Welcome to Hong Kong Business Owners. I'm Carmen, founder of this podcast that shares inspiring stories from entrepreneurs based in Hong Kong. Whether you created your own business, thinking about doing so, or simply curious to discover business creation stories, you'll get to listen to unique business owners' journeys, to learn what it takes to start a company, what the keys to success are, how to apprehend failures and challenges, and what to keep in mind when developing your own business. I hope each episode will inspire you and guide you in your current or future projects. Today in this new episode of Hong Kong Business Owners, I welcome Estelle Neve, founder of Anhao Wellness, to Pilates studios with a team of professionals, welcoming everyone and more specifically supporting athletes, pre- and postnatal women, people recovering from injuries, but also yoga and Pilates lovers. Actually, the studio, located in mid-levels, is divided into 2 floors, one for the training school and private clients, and the other one for the group classes. Hi Estelle, welcome. It's nice to have you here today. How are you?
Thank you, I'm very fine. Thank you for welcoming me.
So let's jump directly into conversation. So the first studio you open is where we are now in mid-levels. So this is where you started your career as a Pilates instructor. And before that, you were working in the bank industry. What made you change career? Was Pilates and also fitness something that you've always practiced even when you were in the bank industry?
Yes, so I think you said right. I was a gymnast when I was a child, and I was working in investment bank after my business school, in fact. However, Pilates was just a comeback to my previous life that I loved so much. And it's just a logical continuity because I was a gymnast and I was training the kids just right after. So what I think today...
So when you were little, you were already dreaming of becoming a gymnast or working in that fitness or environment or something related to sport?
Yes, indeed. I love so much the gymnastic organization I was working in. I was practicing as well. So I really see me in the future as not as a gymnast, but as a gymnastic teacher or sport teacher or osteopath or medicine specialist in sport industry. But I really wanted to keep my career in line with my childhood, in fact. So I was doing gymnastic like 18 hours per week. So every day after school, I finish earlier the school to go to the club to practice, to train so hard, like 2 or 3 hours per day. And it was a total addiction. Then when I came to investment bank, I realized that, oh my God, it's totally not in line with my with what I want in my life. In fact, when I was in the car with my dad, we always went to the supermarket and passing a gymnastic club or fitness club for adults. And I was, maybe daddy, later I can do that. I can work in a fitness club. I was always curious about this kind of job. That I think it was like more in line with my my life, my daily life when I was a gymnast.
Yeah. But you ended up...
Yeah, so I was in investment bank. I'd feel a little bit out of my my dream. So I said, okay, now you are still young. You can still realize your dream or at least try. So at 27, I decided to pass my personal training certification, and I became a personal trainer. Then I started to have 1 client, 2 clients. So I realized in the early stage to become a PT. So it's really what I really want to do in my life. I didn't wait too long. So at 27, I left my job to get fully in the fitness industry.
And how long did you work in the finance?
7 years.
7 years, and you were in France?
France and Hong Kong.
And what made you come to
investment bank? They transferred me to Hong Kong, yeah. So I had the chance that Hong Kong is a very liberal country, and everything you want is here in front of you. So you just need to look for which door you want to walk through, but all the doors are open.
But was it the banking? Did it come from your parents, or because usually the parents want us to do something very safe as a job, like something you have your salary every month and
Yeah, exactly. My parents are really ambitious, and they really wanted me with the business school. They offered to me that I reach a certain level of salary, and they wanted like I have a safe life. In fact, they always want secure with the kids first. So I said, okay, if I go for a sport teacher, maybe I won't win so much money. So maybe let's give up and work in investment bank. And so that's why I gave up the idea to work in the sport industry. And when I realized investment bank was not for me, the first thing I did is I went in France and I met my dad. I was 27, and I said, okay, Dad, I have to talk to you. Yes, so I know you paid the business school, but today I will give up. I will give up for 1 year because I want to follow the path of the fitness industry, and I will be a PT. So he looked at me like, whoa, okay, so how you will earn money directly, you see? So I said, it's okay, give me 1 year. Okay, I really wanted the approval from my dad because I'm very close to him and he offered me everything in my life. I have some respect to him, so I wanted his approval. And so give me 1 year. I'm still junior in investment bank anyway, so if it doesn't work in the fitness industry, I will come back to investment bank. You see, and I never had a rest in my life. It's not like I did a world tour or 1 year rest. I used to work all of my life. So this year it's not to have a rest, it's to work hard on my PT job. And okay, let's see. And then like now, just 13 years later, each summer I see him, he say, oh, you remember this conversation in the south of France? Now I'm so proud of you, my daughter. I'm so happy you are not in investment bank anymore. Yes.
But 1 year is a very short time, actually.
So 1 year in Hong Kong is very intense. It can be 10 years in France. Here things are going so fast, and even faster than what you are able to do.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's you have to say stop to Hong Kong because you can get overwhelmed very easy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was very bold of you to have this conversation with your dad.
Yeah.
Okay. So then what was this year like when that very first year when you started your business? How did you start?
Okay, so after the conversation with my dad, I decided to spend 100% on it. So I started a personal training job, and I knew I would never come back to investment bank from the first day. So every morning I was so happy, like I will never work again. But in fact, it was my job. But no boss, freedom, and living fully my passion. It's like you don't go to work and you live just really what you want to do in your life. So, and I never thought about growing, you see. I was just teaching and I was just happy with the clients, lot of exchange. Most of them now, they are my friends, you see. So I cannot teach them anymore. Yeah. So you create so many bonds.
Yeah. It seems that also from what you were saying before, since you were little, you like also the sharing with people. I can feel that, like teaching people, transmitting your knowledge to them.
Yeah. So there is no fake story, there is no superficial things. You see, the client, they pay you, so they need to get results. Yeah. So you really you give 100% of your knowledge, of your experience. You have to love sharing.
Yeah.
And then sharing is caring.
Yeah.
So the client, they feel it, and then they come back, you see. And private client getting more and more results, they never stop training with me. But however, new were coming, and I started to have full schedule. Wow. So it was hard for me to...
After how long?
Just 6 months.
Oh, wow.
So started to think about a location to rent out because
But
I
how
was
to-
going to the condo, to the street, to the park at 5 a.m. and to train at 10 p.m. So it was a really busy and full schedule everywhere in Hong Kong. So after 1 year, directly, I decided to rent out a place, the place you are now. Yeah, I started to hire some teacher because I couldn't teach 24 hours on 24 hours. So I needed some teachers to help me.
But how did you find your first clients? Did you do
A French association, a French magazine. I don't know the name, and I put an annonce, and a French girl replied.
like an ad in the...
Yes, in a newspaper.
Okay.
Yeah, hard copy, not soft copy. There was not so much internet into 10 to 11. So there was still some magazine in Hong Kong. And I trained her, and she was a president of a big French association. I remember Fanny. And I trained Fanny, and then word to mouth. Everybody were talking about me, and I was the only one at this year. You see, now I know there are so many, and we even have a coffee and gathering with the French PT in Hong Kong. But I started alone, totally alone.
Okay. So yeah, so then you started having many clients. So you had to have a studio and hire people, right?
Yeah, so we became a team. Teachers, me, client. Then I thought maybe we have to organize some group classes. It would be better for everybody to train and give chance to everyone to practice with me, with us, with all the team.
Okay.
But with the group classes, the business grew so fast.
Yeah.
So one floor, no space anymore. I had to take the second floor. And then one studio in Central was not enough. So I opened a second studio in Causeway Bay. And then I opened a training school to train the future Pilates teacher in Hong Kong.
How do you hire people? How do you hire the right people and make your own team that reflects how you work?
So hire is we can say the most difficult part, because what I want is the loyal team. I like to trust people when I work. You see, I don't want to monitor everything. I don't want to control everything.
Yeah.
So I let teacher to be independent. But today we are 11, so full-time, part-time. And after years of experience, I understood the secret to keep them in the loop, which will remain my little secret. Because it's like a Michelin star, in fact. You have your best dinner ever, but you will never know the recipe. So we are a team together, we work together, and we don't work against each other. So it was the hardest part in Hong Kong, because Hong Kong there are so many fitness studios, and you can have your private for your own business as well. So I hire just like the feeling you discuss with the people. It's like when you hire your helper for your kids, you see, it's just a question of feeling. And then, of course, for 12 years, it was hard to keep most of them. Some people went overseas because Hong Kong is really international city. And some young people, they start at my studio and then they move to big corporate fitness studio. But now, because I'm a training school, in fact, most of people, they train at the studio as a student. And then they decide to become a teacher and they register to the training school, and then I hire them.
Okay.
Yes. And I have some grid of salary. So more you reach, more you get a higher salary.
And how is it to go from an independent solo entrepreneur to becoming a business owner, hiring people, having a team? Because I guess your daily life was probably somehow different from, when you have only yourself to manage and then you have other people.
Yeah, it's totally different job. Now I'm a full manager, so I almost don't teach anymore. Before I was teaching like 25 hours per week, even sometimes 30 clients per week. Now I teach like 2 or 3 clients So my really my favorite one, my privileged one. But I really take care of the teacher training, so we do every week. So weekly basis, like this afternoon, all the team is coming, and we have some review on some standard, the Pilates standard. And what we do, we discuss as well to understand the client request.
Okay.
And we exchange a lot. Okay, so I try to do that every week, and then beside I have meeting with every teacher almost every week to discuss about the progress, how we can improve on the private client, the method, on the schedule as well. And I try to work on the schedule, you see. Work-life balance is very important for the teacher. If you give the teacher every Saturday, at one moment he will give up. So it's like the teacher...
Because Saturday is a busy day?
It's a busy day, but everybody have to work really. But everybody wants this day off. So I try to work on the balance. So if you teach this Saturday, you won't teach the other Saturday. The team is really respectful. If you have an event, private event in your family, you can go. No worry, another teacher will cover. So it's just a question of trust. And when you see you give, then you receive. It's just logical.
And I had another question. So you started your first studio, and then did you have to look for investors to fund this project, or did you have money saved from when you were in the bank industry?
In 2013, two of my friends helped me when I wanted to open the second floor and buy reformers, because reformer is very, very expensive. And
what is
the reformer?
Yeah.
Is the Pilates machine.
Okay.
With some resistance and strap to support you during your workout.
Okay.
So after only 1 year, it was already refunded and classes were already fully booked. And one of my first clients, Rachel, she's still with me today. She became a teacher. She loved so much that she decided to pass her exam, and now she's still here today. She even became a friend. And she was there when I opened the Reformer studio. And 2 years ago, she was there as well with me when we opened the second studio. So about the Causeway Bay studio, I have been approached by investors. So I couldn't believe it that I didn't reply to their email. Yeah, because I thought it was a spam. So really, it was like, oh my God, no, what's that? And then the second email, everybody were in CC, the CEO, the COO, all the staff. And I was, maybe I have to reply. And they proposed me a coffee and said, coffee has no cost. It's okay, let's go, just go. They were observing the studio running for a few months already.
How long at that time, how long has it been you started the first studio?
10 years.
Oh, 10 years.
Yeah, I just opened the second studio in 2021.
Okay.
So the bond was so strong. I took the opportunity again, and I love so much working with them.
And how did it go? Like the first coffee, and you didn't know what to expect of this?
Yeah, so they bring me to the coffee shop, and in fact, it was just in front of the new location. They are very smart. So after the coffee, they bring me to the new studio, and we made a visit. It was all with nothing because under construction, and so I was almost stuck. You see,
yeah,
like you have no choice to sign. It was so attractive.
So then they were basically offering to work with you and open another studio in Causeway Bay. Yeah.
Indeed. So we are the only one big studio in Causeway Bay with 10 reformers. So it's a big room with 800 square feet. We have as well one floor for the changing room, very stylish one. All the decoration, I did it. I drew it. And there is a floor with a lounge. So if you want to have a coffee or tea or just chill out or work with your computer.
Oh, it's a space also.
It's a big space, yeah. Okay. It's a big space.
You mentioned also the first time we spoke that everything was very organic, the way you grew your business. So those investors reached out to you. You told me that also a brand, I'm not very familiar with the machines in Pilates, but a brand of one of the machines, the people of that company reached out to you too, very organically.
Indeed, I never thought about growing. It was just all organic. So
Yeah.
even the second floor, when I opened it was a art gallery. And I saw some beers on the floor with a message. Oh, it was my farewell, so take the beers. And I was like, oh my God, it means the studio will be available, this space. Just take it. So I contacted the landlord, but I really didn't know what to do with that. But I really didn't want someone else take this location because it was just below my location. So I said, okay, let's grab it and see. That's why two of my friends helped me to open this floor because we had to go fast. And then same like the school, the training school. So I represent in Hong Kong the Mary Few License Center from Canada. And one day a lady came to the studio, Cindy, and she approached me and said, oh, okay, it's month, we observe you work very well. Do you want to represent Mary Few School in Hong Kong to train the future teacher? So we're discussing about the agreement and I was, okay, let's try. And the first training on the reformer was just in January 2020 before the COVID. And it was fully booked. So successful. And we just finished one day before they closed the border. And then now I do about between 6 to 9 training per year.
So it seems that for all these years you were working and you were very passionate.
Yeah,
and actually people were observing you and then coming at you.
You cannot imagine in your life, you work peacefully with your own studio, with your own team, and you don't want to be bothered by over. You already quit investment bank to be in peace. And then you cannot realize some people observe you, the way how you work. And if you work well, you deserve some result. And some people will give you the result. And it's like achievement for me, you see. Because I didn't ask anything to anyone. And I will never ask again because I'm okay with what I have. I'm very happy.
But it seems that you have a mindset, like you like to challenge yourself. For example, when you told your dad, okay, give me 1 year and you'll see. Also, seems that you love sharing and learning always. This is something I witnessed from, in other interviews with entrepreneurs, that always be learning. It's really something in the mindset that is very strong. And so all of this leads you to seize opportunities as they arise. And you told me that like all doors are open in Hong Kong and you were just ready for, opportunities. You're always here listening to people. And where does this mindset come from? Because is it something you built over the years running this business and being in Hong Kong? Or was it something that you always had? Like you were always like that?
I think I used to be always like this. I'm very independent first, since I'm born. So I have a brother, he talks so much to everyone in the street, unknown people. And I was always behind him when I was a child. And just behind my mom as well, observing everybody but never talk. Never. I was so shy. And each time someone were talking to me, I was just showing my tongue. Like, no, I don't want to talk to you. And I just wanted to talk whenever I want to talk. I don't want people make me talk. So it's just from my heart. If I talk, it's because it's really from my heart. So it was hard for my parents to understand that as well, because they are very social and I was not social. But I'm solar. So I was always shining and always ready to listen. And I'm curious as well. So I travel around the world. I was lucky to have parents to make me travel a lot. I travel a lot by myself as well.
Oh.
Yeah. And I'm really stubborn. My husband always told me, so he said, oh my God, it's good you don't have any boss. So that's why I think as an entrepreneur, it was for my childhood as well. You see, it's a natural behavior I have. Of course, I have to learn every day how to behave with the team, with the client. You see, sometimes you don't sleep all the night, and the day after you have 7 clients, 3 meetings. How do you handle that? And your kids are sick at home. You have no choice to face it. So you need to become actress. But I think my personality make me shine every day. I love what I do, so it's okay for me to just live there on a daily basis with what happens.
Another question. So you are yourself a trainer also, so you train people, and this goes with your learning mindset. You told me you have certifications. So how often do you have certifications? Is it something that is important in your business, in your career, and in the Pilates industry? How does it work?
So it works in a continuity points, means you need to keep your points up to date every year, so you can lose your certification.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's why almost every year I pass a new certification. As well, sometimes you have some workshop, nights online workshop, to keep the point up to date. So what is good is you are always updated, and I'm fully certified teacher for Pilates.
So, for example, when was the last one?
It was in May.
Okay.
Yes.
And you're always up to date, but what changes from a year to another? I mean, I don't know much about it, but I guess the techniques and maybe the machines, or what is it that is new to learn every year?
So you have a certification about everything. So as you say, different machines. You can have a certification on the mat, on the reformer, on the ladder barrel, whatever, on the ball, and on some certain levels as well. So for beginners, for advanced, for pre-postnatal, for women, for injuries. So you have many kind of certification.
And how do you pick the one? Because you have many. So now.
Yeah, so now it's because I'm fully certified, so I can only do higher score or workshop.
Okay, sounds good. And how is it to, just a question I have now, to run a business and have kids at the same time?
So it was organic as well, because I opened the business before to get the third kid. So when I signed the second lease, I just learned 1 week later I was pregnant.
Wow.
So I was like, oh my God, how can I pay 2 rents at the same times? And I'm pregnant. So it means in 8 months, I cannot teach anymore. And then you have to learn. You need to accept the situation first, and you need to learn how to delegate, to trust people. You need to trust people.
Which is difficult when it's your business.
Yeah, because when you are alone, you can do all by yourself. But when you realize alone you are not able to do anymore, because physically you will deliver soon and you won't be able to teach clients, you need to find out a way to exit this entrepreneur solo methodology, you see. Yeah. So that's why the team grew as well. Because when I deliver, I had no choice to just trust the team at the studio and leave the studio running by itself.
And I was wondering, you mentioned now you're training people and there are other studios and the market of personal trainers is big. So what's the wellness and fitness landscape like in Hong Kong?
So Hong Kong is full of fabulous people from everywhere, looking always for opportunities. And fitness market is growing so fast for years. It's not a maturity market at all. We have to follow the trend, reaching further up every year. So for 12 years, I saw the trend change so much. So at the beginning, people were coming at studio to discover or to have physical workout after work, for instance, or during the weekend. But today, people want to fully integrate wellness in their daily life. And not only after work. It's a new way of life, a regular workout, which contributes to reduce the stress, the anxiety, the depression, and so more. The wellness is not an option anymore. It's necessary to keep your life healthy on a daily basis.
Do you think it's a consequence of the rhythm, I mean, here it's so dynamic and
Yes, Hong Kong is a city that never had a rest.
yeah.
It never has a rest and will never have a rest. Yes. So the energy is so high that sometimes it get over your own energy and you can get overwhelmed
Yeah.
quickly if you don't go over it. Okay, so you need to find out a way to go over it. So how to survive and to do not feel overwhelmed. So it just, as I said before, you follow your heart. Okay, so if you want to chill, you chill. If you want to work out, you work out. If you want to cry, you cry. You just need to keep your body grounded by working out. It's very important. And I think people now start to understand the process.
Yeah. So talking about that, as it's a market that is still booming, so you have, we can say, competitors. Also, there was COVID before. So how do you shape the vision and the future of your business?
So to keep in a long-term process, my vision is to keep the high-quality standard of Pilates. Because so many competitors open in 2023. Never happened before. I don't know why. I was almost alone for 10 years. And I want to remind the unique style, luxurious boutique studio in Hong Kong by focusing on the quality with really qualified, professional and certified teacher, the teacher I train. Okay? So as I say, many competitors have opened recently and we have no choice to face it. But my vision is really clear. So keep the loyal team, proud to work at Anhao Wellness, proud of our value. So our value is the quality of work for privileged clients. We try to make it better every day, to focus on that, on the quality, and in the future to try to keep it always high and up.
And do you have maybe in mind to open another studio?
I have so many ideas, but I have to keep my feet grounded as well and focus on the second studio first and focus on the quality of the teaching and the team, as I told you. Yeah.
And I had one question about the name. What does Anhao mean?
Anhao is the Chinese two characters name. So it means well-being in Mandarin, Putonghua. So An and Hao. So An is like well-being, massage, how you feel. And Hao is good.
Okay.
So Anhao is well-being, global well-being. And if you watch the characters later on, in the two different characters, you have the woman characters inside. Yes. I knew I wanted to focus 90% of women. I really wanted for clients to understand that you can access to fitness without any requirement, without any background. Don't be scared to access to the fitness at Anhao Wellness.
You don't need to be, for example, I've never done any Pilates session, so I can come and...
Yes, exactly what Anhao Wellness wants.
Okay.
To reach everybody.
Okay. All right, and I have one last question for you. So do you have anything that you would like to share, any learnings or any tips to share with other business owners or also people who might still be hesitant to launch their own business?
So first, I have a very good advice. It's follow your dream. But first, you need to understand what is your true self. Who are you? What do you want in your life? And for that, you need to feel grounded. And then you will reach your point. If you are lost at the beginning, you cannot reach, you see. So really define what do you want and who you are. You fail or not, but you have nothing to lose because the life is short. As well, if you want to reach, I really recommend you work hard to follow your dream. It doesn't come like this. So Socrates says, I love this quote, success depends on effort.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for instance, in my case, sometimes the business works very well and very fast, as you know. But fast means you are in lack of time to think properly, and it can lead totally to a fail.
Yeah.
So I try to spend time when there is a fail to think and to meditate, to see what happened in the present, and then to anticipate a bit my vision in the future. So I'm from Paris, and I try to bring my style, which is really picky sometimes. I try to keep all high standard, and every detail counts. So I try to educate everyone at Studio this way. The decoration, the studio equipment, the teacher cue, the method, the schedule, pointing toes, flex toes, all points count. The morning to-do list is always at its perfection. But of course, sometimes it's a fail. And what I learn every day is to accept that the plan is there is no plan sometimes. And it allows me to correct and move forward. And again, another Socrates quote, because he says so well for entrepreneurs, say, all I know is that I know nothing.
Yeah.
And every day I have to learn.
Yeah. Well, that's yeah. I can't say it better. It's a very good vision of a very good way of seeing failure, because especially in France, failing is like it's a mistake, and you failed, and in other cultures it's seen more as a you learned something at least, and then you can do something else. And that specific question of failure was something that I was interested in as an entrepreneur, because if you're an entrepreneur and you're stuck when you see a failure, I don't think you can move forward.
Yeah, but if you accept the fail, then you can find out a solution to move forward in another way.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much. It was
Thank you,
so
Carmen.
Inspiring. It was a pleasure to share all of this with you, and your story and your mindset are very inspiring, and I think it would inspire other people.
Yes, if I can help, I'm always here to help.
So, where can we find out more about you and your studio?
We have the website, anhaowellness.com, or just write Pilates Hong Kong on Google. We are the first or second studio on Google, and our IG, Anhao Wellness, is always up to date.
Okay, so thank you to you who are listening. You'll find all the links to Anhao's website and social media in the description of the episode. I hope you liked today's business story. If you're thinking about running your own business, you might now be one step closer to doing so. Don't forget to leave me 5 stars and follow me on Instagram at hk.businessowners. See you in 2 weeks for a new business story. Bye!